Yo, greetings, I am Lies and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal, and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together!
Yeah!
Well, welcome back to the in-between land with all the beautiful shifting bubbly blobs.
It's about you calling me master.
Anyway, I couldn't help it. He glances back at me. Something unreadable and intense in his expression. Look up Master, a dentist. It'll be a hell of a time.
Yes,
it's a good misread of a song.
It's a good lyric miss here.
Yes.
For Nightwish, in case you're wondering.
Yes. In his expression.
How do I put this? I hate it. I don't want you to call me that anymore. Ever.
How did it come about? When did it start? Why have you never told me? Oh, but why? You are my master. You've taught me everything. And socially, clearly as a world-building statement, this is what you call people in that position, because I learned that from either you or society, and either way, that means it is common. And
Yes.
comfortable.
How do I explain it? I only returned what was already yours, Korai. Calling me master is beneath you.
Okay, that is such a fun piece of world building that wouldn't make any sense yet, but having played the other two routes is a fabulous line.
Uh-huh.
I wish there was something like that in the other ones.
Me 12. But again, for some damn reason, you can't have relationships with anybody else other than your love interest. Because, yeah,
And you can't learn things that you would have understood with or about them. It's
I
okay.
wonder actually if that, quote, problem actually largely started here.
Because you only talk to Asra, otherwise
Or you
it might be
largely
distracting.
only talk to Asra. And it worked much better in this route. And they're like, but we need to basically have that continual experience. But then they went also, we need to amp it up. And I was like, yeah, but if you're going to have more plot, more story, more amp, you need to have other characters or it feels weirdly contrived.
Or, if Asra is where you get your foundational world building, it should be available in every route.
Yes, it should.
I was going to say, even if you're not going to be involved with him, you should find a way to couch it or place it, even if it's putting it in a more social situation or somewhere that doesn't feel as isolated, romantic, personal, so that it's available to the player.
You mean they have to have a scene with more than one character in it? Talking to another character?
And not have it be NADIA'S siblings?
Yes.
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 It might be possible.
Beneath you. Which
Like-
I also, though, actually think is pretty interesting. Because, again, like, as you've pointed out, it doesn't actually mean much right now. Because we also don't have the memory to back that up. Cool, it's beneath me, but I don't have any context, so...
Well, see, for me, if I'm trying to imagine that I haven't played anything before,
Right.
this again is another piece of building on that mystery, but also suddenly getting to know something about Asra that I, the player, care about. Not, oh, he was involved with a dude at some point, I guess.
Right? That was, again, I'm like, what the fuck
say-
are we supposed to get out of that?
As the best guess, fan service that was oddly placed because the game didn't set up for it.
Yes.
So I've mentioned before, and I'm only gonna beleaguer this a tiny bit longer, but I'll mention it here because I don't think I've done it, in any of these playthroughs. That fan service is a thematic element of storytelling, and if you're going to work it in and have it not disrupt the other bits of your storytelling, you need to do basically a couple of different things with it. And of course, this isn't like a hard and fast. No writing rules are.
Oh,
but
yeah.
for the most part, if you're going to have it not feel out of left field, and you don't want it to, because sometimes that's what you want, then you want it to be either consistently set up in the story. In the same way that if it's a romance, they'll usually establish the feel of it at the beginning so you know what the tropes are.
Right.
If you're going to have fan service, they establish that at the beginning so you know what's going on.
But-
The intro to your fan service anime, while the music is playing and everybody runs to the left and has their face shots, is going to show the tone of this does or doesn't have fan service in it.
Yeah.
And in this one, there was none of that set up, and they haven't then followed up with it, so it felt very strange. I've also said that diegetic fan service works really well, which, for those who aren't familiar with the term, and I only learned it a couple of years ago, means in-universe the characters know it is happening or are doing it.
And it also feels way more fun, less exploitative. Like, the character is basically participating, going, ah, yes, I want you to look at me, rather than going, oh no, the tiny lolly has bent over and woo, you see her undies.
And
she is not aware, and she's being completely exploited basically for the viewer's benefit and not like participate. It feels, it's less predatory.
I was gonna say, and it's less, like, I guess you could say voyeuristic, but it doesn't have to be bad. Those aren't necessarily negative terms in fiction.
No, and the thing is you can literally have when they do that, like, I don't really like them, but also like, hey, babe. You can literally say, this is your genre, that's the tropes, and you go, that's what we do. But you would need to know then that that was the genre and these are the tropes that you're supposed to be expecting. Because I have to say, I wasn't actually expecting for a romance mystery visual novel that I'm suddenly going to dissolve into a shit ton of basically fan service with two characters where your character isn't really involved.
Yeah.
That seems really strange.
Where it is not really involving you, the player. Okay. Then I was going to say diegetic fan service. A really good example of it is Ouran High School Host Club.
Yes.
Where everyone in the main cast of boys, I'll specifically say that, know they're hot and do so, and specifically fan service to viewing audiences on purpose regularly.
Yes.
And so it's not done just for the viewer as a framing device while they're doing normal stuff. They're literally doing it on purpose.
They're doing it with you alongside basically the girls who come in and are hosted by them.
I say the interior audience of the show.
Yeah, so it's an in-universe thing and you're brought in along with it.
Yep.
It's diegetic.
Yep. Anyway,
Beneath
so
you.
all of that. But yeah, I think that's an interesting line, this one here, beneath you, because if I hadn't been in the other routes yet, I'd go, hang on, you have some strong opinions suddenly, sir. I'm curious about this.
Yep.
Asra leans towards me, staring at me for a long moment before smiling.
I don't know how much time we've left together tonight, but I want to make the most of it. There's a whole world to see out here, you know? If you wanted to explore it with me, or are we leading up to a premium scene?
I think
Are we leading up to a premium scene?
Master, you specifically invited me here to answer a couple of questions. One that might be potentially dangerous, but I might be ready to handle and have not be dangerous. And now you're saying the magical world that is the space between spaces that doesn't exist is the thing we should be focusing on?
Based on our other playthroughs, this is totally Asra. I find this to be so frustrating because actually this behavior is really common with all the other characters too.
I say, my dear Master, grouses softly because I'm not supposed to say that one anymore. This is just like you. I do like you. God damn it. Do you want to answer the question? Because I will drop it.
Will you answer
And I will come back to it later when you are more comfy because I feel like you have been redirected real hard.
Yes.
He clasped both my hands in his own, excitement spreading to light up his whole face.
Well, what do you say, Kohai?
He's never offered to take me with him before. To places that are not places, or anywhere, really. We just never did anything together. If I don't say something now, I might lose my chance.
Yes!
It fucking is.
I called it. That is definitely a very awkward segue. God, why is this series so bad about, like, awkward segues into romantic scenes to buy?
So, one, if I were just okay. What I have learned of Asra of the last two routes is that this fits him very well of going, I am interacting with the thing you're speaking about, and now I am king of redirection.
No, and that's fine. But I'm saying, like, if you're coming to this, like, just with a route, and it was irritating in the other ones, too, because I wasn't kidding.
Why?
They all do it to some degree, and it's really frustrating.
Also, the I should head back doesn't sound right. So, if everything that's been set up for me is true at this point, and let's say both of these are just normal options, and neither of them is premium, so there's no basically leading you into a value construct as a player.
Right.
Right?
Because
hopefully that makes sense, because the fact that one of them costs money in any premium scene suggests that there's something more important or valuable there.
Yes.
So, and it's hard to avoid seeing or feeling about that as a player, okay?
Right.
And so there's this experience of going, I should head back doesn't make sense because we didn't get the very reason we were invited here answered. And two, he just said, I don't know how long we have. So I should head back doesn't make sense because he's like, there's a limited amount of time here anyways. So we should, this experience will eventually end itself.
Yes.
And so it's like, I should head back to what? We came down here this evening
To do a
just
thing.
to see him. There was no other pressing activities, not to go to sleep, not to report in with someone, not to
talk
check
to
on something
Nadia,
else.
not do your job.
Like, the activity we were doing was, in the entire game, was coming to see him and ask him about the things that were interesting
I was about
to
to
us.
say, the whole point right now is just to see Asra. Seems really strange.
So I should head back. There's nothing to head back to as far as the characters' interests have been described to me in the story so far.
Yes.
And not that we wouldn't choose the scene, but I'm going to say that that second line doesn't make as much sense in any kind of, for me, character building kind of way, other than actually, I'm suddenly going to shut down and not be comfortable here.
Yes.
Which sounds very strange and sudden.
Friend, you're gonna knock the chair
No,
over?
hang on. The support, there we go. Got it.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to, so for anyone who hasn't seen a premium scene, we are about to enter cover-up art territory.
We are.
And we are not going to read any of the full phrases of the scene. We are going to ad-lib what is going on there.
Yes.
And potentially also add our own stuff. We'll earmark it when we do, because conversations.
Yep.
I say, and describe with as many synonyms as possible what's going on.
Yes.
But first,
Uh-huh.
we have to figure out where it ends. We'll be right back.
But you also forgot to mention the guest artist.
Oh no, guest artist! I did forget.
I was about to say, hang on, so also so you guys know, just as a characteristic, we, was the agreement with Nix Hydra, we're not going to show any of their sparkle art, assuming they even have any. Actually,
Any of the visuals in the scene.
Yeah, so we actually have a guest artist, that's Draconisha. They're going to have their information down in the links below.
Yep.
If you could support them, that would be super awesome. Anyway, we will be right the heck back. Be right back.
Okay, we've got this.
All right,
So, let us enter the territory and join us as we explore
the Oasis.
And Kohai expresses
Exuberance! Me!
My
you!
desire?
Together! Yes, let's do it!
Yes, I was to say, my desire is anything involving this place while we are together.
Hi, you? I have strong desires. Let's do it.
Yep, definitely.
Hi, saw this.
And then,
And then yelling, and then there's that sort of, oh shit, I was a little overeager, wasn't I?
Wasn't
like,
that-
I'm a little self-conscious. Kohai going, there was a bit much.
that was really obvious, wasn't it?
You exploded that out of your mouth.
It's like that scene where somebody goes, yeah, I'd fucking love to! And then they go, I mean, that'd be great. That's what happened.
That's just what this happened. Azra then giggles at us, basically. And then,
grins.
so, like, the most gentle, warm, smiling, possibly with or without teeth, who knows. It's a smile.
Yes.
And then Azra's like, hey, well, let us go then. Because, hey, nothing else should be keeping us
Let's
here.
do this now.
And then he expresses that he is also basically as eager as Kohai in some capacity.
To look about.
To
investigate. To enjoy the area.
Oh, and then he has a pause, though. He's just like,
Hold tight.
hold on to our pants here. I need to drag your little footies over here to the place that is my absolute favorite in this area.
To a section of here that I love best.
Yes.
And so the two of them.
And then apparently somehow we can actually have direction in a place that lacks direction and shifts regularly.
I say the
we
two
actually
of them
deliberately prove that we are an ambi-turner.
I was gonna say the thing is
and we view a large, basically a very wet forest, incredibly wet.
high humidity
Forest. That
with
of course,
limited seasonal change.
yes, that actually appeared out of nowhere.
Yep.
Based on this,
But yeah, it
because,
really is
yeah, we're right. Yeah, the environment around us actually just shifts quite easily into apparently whatever we want.
I say, but it is one of those of I orient myself in reference to this world while identifying one of the hands on the side of my body, and I turn that way.
Yeah, pretty much. We've become an ambi-turner.
Yep. And then
Asra,
it is our good not
directs
master that heads first into that moist,
the underbrush,
moist tree place, and has to actually work his way through the denseness of the growth.
Yes.
Carefully, thoughtfully, but without a machete.
Yep, and also without fucking tripping your ass on the ground everywhere.
Yeah, or getting your face, or getting our face
planting.
slapped by the things that are pushed out of the
The
way.
leaves.
Don't you love it when someone pushes a branch out of the way in front of you, and then they move, and then just into you.
I've done that to you once and I felt so bad about it. So sometimes a friend and I will go skating and then I'll just we'll run into a thing and I'll move it and I think I've gone far enough. Sometimes I think about it and then I just let it go. And then
here's a soft little...
And I was like, no! I've beaten my friend with a tree.
Yes. So then,
Oh, and then there's this very point being pushed here of being like, wow, the whole experience that we're having here continues to be had with Asra just holding...
fingers gripping each other's tightly.
Yes, we're gripped palm to palm.
Uh-huh. So the thing is,
and then, of course, there's also this mention that Asra just keeps looking back over his shoulder. Just looking back over his shoulder. Just
every time delighted and also enthused that Kohai has not left.
And also has that oh, God, this is so good. You still exist. Ah, it's working.
I was gonna say, since the beginning of the premium scene, we have clasped our grippies together.
Our fingers.
All right.
And actually, no, so we're still talking about,
right now.
Yeah, still passing through basically the trees and the underbrush. It actually, eventually, parts basically to let us through. And, we see a ton of very sparkly critters.
We see an open space that is not as densely foliated.
Yes. Infoliated.
And it's
exfoliated.
And it's full of fauna.
Yes, it is.
Like all kinds
of beautiful glowing fauna.
Yes.
Or some type of flora or the mishmash because you can't really always classify everything as strictly flora or fauna.
What is a critter? It's got critters in there.
It's got critter, that's what I said.
I would say, so the critters are making some noise, but it's like a sort of a welcoming noise, a note, a marker of something has arrived here.
Or just basically, because the thing is, you can actually also use that word. There was actually a conversation, that my friend and I actually had with a relative of my friend, where they were talking about basically going, oh, well, this word means anxiety is just a general word. We're like, no,
that's specific.
It's anxiety has actually shifted way more towards it's actually a negative emotion rather than just a delighted anxiety. You're like, no, anxiety is a bad for most people.
You can say, I was just saying, you don't say I was anxious to go to the amusement park and it's like so excited anymore. It's I was really damn nervous and stressed about it.
Yeah.
But historically, and I just mean even like 20 some years ago, based on what my dad talked about, it really was this experience of just going, you could, and if you look at the dictionary, it's you can be anxious for something to happen in a positive way or anxious for something to happen in a negative way. So that. Anyway, So all of the animals make excited sounds as and bounce about like a dog greeting their owner kind of thing.
They're even like making their own little homes on our body.
Yes.
It's amazing. Just making little happy warbly noises going, woo!
Okay, some kind of a creature alights on Kohai's face and makes little peeping noises.
Uh-huh.
And Kohai's fine with this.
Yes. And then Asra observes, wow, it seems to like you.
It seems to enjoy you. It appreciates you. It's comfy with you.
It's fond of you.
It's fond of you. Yep.
And then now we're moving on. So actually that more of the little critters are actually now exploring Asra's hair follicles.
Asra's head fluff.
And now apparently they're burying themselves into his scalp. Just sort of going, this is my place, I love it.
Sort of softly nesting on his head.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
he has
just
become
peeping and tweeting.
Because these are wild creatures, for
I would
sure.
say several of them are all going, your head is my home now.
Yeah, this is mine.
I live here now. And so it's, okay, now we get to an option.
Oh, so you have to decide if you will agree, basically, of going like, but you too. Basically, and the other one is going
by the creatures.
You are also enjoined. And then the other one is basically just going, make me feel better. What is it exactly?
Why don't you describe
to me
why they do approve of me and find me agreeable?
Yes.
So I don't think that Kohai is going to I know that question of going but please tell me the specific thing that would draw this creature to me that is good.
Right.
You know, what feature do I possess that does
Which
this?
doesn't have to be a negative. Honestly, it could be like, I don't even know what these are. Why the heck are they even interested in me?
It can be that sort of thing where someone's outside and the bees keep investigating them and they go, why the heck are they keep looking at me?
And you go, bees!
Or it could be an experience, because it's not really clear tonally to me, of going, but could you reassure me, or could you say nice things about me?
Based on how this story, even with the other route, seems to work, I honestly think the other one is a little bit more like reassure me.
I think it's an insecurity thing. Yeah. If I had to guess,
because
what the
that's
MC
also
is like.
really common in romance, of just being like, I'm insecure.
Tell me
with the delicate, beautiful flower. What's so good about me? And then then your love interest gets to go off at great length about basically things they like about you, but of course is about the critters instead of you.
Right, because it's vague and broad and undirected, but you know they're talking about you.
Yeah.
So,
I think so in this case, Kohai is very, very much interested more in being like, no, but Asra, you too. You know,
I would say there's very much going to be a statement here of it feels much more natural for the character I'm crafting to be like, I am going to mirror what you're stating of, if you're saying they're fond of me, wow, I'm going to say, based on the fact that they're nesting on you, I'm guessing it's true in your direction as well.
Right, exactly.
So we're choosing that and Kohai
and
is
of course, we've chosen it, yep.
Totally true for you too.
And then he's like, oh, well, he's
can neither confirm nor deny.
He just really says, well, I come here a lot. They just like me.
I was just saying,
and is
they come with me.
But in your experience, the thing is that you are this fantastic brand new thing that has never been here before, and they find that to be like, wow,
very appealing.
Which is also very like, you really did just kind of go, well, me, but you're the new babe.
He kind of went, well, yeah, the deer in this clearing are super fond of me because I come here all the time. But the fact they like you just means that you are just extra good.
Except that not. And honestly, in some way, like, I've seen stuff used like this before, and you kind of just go, my dude, you literally just told me the only reason they're interested in me
is because I've never been here before. And they're interested in you because you'll be here all the time.
My guy, which one is actually more valuable?
So I was going to say, so what I'm hearing
based on your standards.
Next time I come here, no one will be interested until I've been here a lot of times.
Yes, exactly. Yep. That's kind of what I was thinking, going, yeah, next time we come here, no one will be here. And then Asra is just like, yeah, but I need you to know, like, seriously, you need to understand that, like,
everyone would be delighted to acquaint with you.
Because, like, oh my gosh.
There's not a single person, like,
oh my gosh.
Could you not fathom a single person that wouldn't just be delighted to make your acquaintance?
Yes, exactly.
So Asra has asserted that Kohai is just extremely a gift to people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, the gift. And then
Asra actually seems to move away from us and releases us.
Grip.
Grip just dropped and then actually sits down on the beach.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a beach near this, quote, lake,
and lays out like starfish pose.
And does probably draw me like one of your French girls. Because, you know, he looks very comfy. He looks very beautiful. He looks very delightful. He's sprawled out. And we've got sparkle art.
I'm guessing based on this art that the beach is
like a really
red.
High dune.
I was gonna say is red.
Or that, again, that's just the lighting. So if you have like the purple with like the green lighting, then you have yellow, you could make an argument that it would change color.
If it was yellow granules, look at this tiny little nonsense creature.
I love them. It looks like something from like the Cambrian period, and I really like it.
And also like Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yes.
Okay, so
honestly, that aesthetic though is cool as fuck.
It really is. Okay, so here I am seeing the premium art of Asra that they have designed for this game, and it's cute and all, but the first thing I notice is this little sort of like flying ghost implied shrimp thing with like bunny ears, and I fucking love it.
Look, it's like a little trilobite. It's something from the Cambrian
period. It's like a segmented
but a long
water thing. Yeah, that's long, and it has these like bunny ear fins and a little cute face of like, and I just
little eye dots probably.
I have only met this thing just now, but if anything were to happen to it,
I would kill everyone in the room and then myself. All right, but the thing is like apparently Kohai just heavy plop
funk.
Right next to him.
And then
move, scoot.
Does that strategic, let me put our hips next to each other so that
Except this sounds like this was done so quickly. Like this is very much a, punk, we are next to each other. I didn't wait. I just went for it. It was
Shoo.
right there. Your hip and mine, they are connected.
Okay, when I say strategic, I mean drops themselves in such a way so that it requires like one shift of the weight to be leaned against Asra.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
And then, of course, it seems like some of the other critters are actually disturbed around us because apparently
plants.
there are plants that are there that we didn't talk about before.
It's fine.
But they do not seem particularly unsettled. They resume luminescing. Joyful luminescence, and they actually set up basically around us.
Yeah, they then present themselves aesthetically around our visuals.
It's very nice. And Asra just sort of, kind of, probably like talks off more probably to himself, just reiterating that he's already said this, because he has actually already said that this is just a place that he comes to when he needs to get shit out of his brain.
To empty his head and organize his thoughts.
Head empty, no thoughts.
Yes. And also
and then,
to
like,
observe the lights of the sky.
Yes, to observe the burning billions of miles away gas. Pumbaa, with you, everything is gas. And Asra comments that actually it's really nice.
It's quite calming.
It very much like clears his skin.
I say it's good for your heart rate. It's better than a breathing exercise.
Right?
It's just nice.
Relaxing.
And so Kohai observes that the way he is looking at his environment is just...
Well, especially like him, like looking up to the heavens, basically.
And
just
watching
going
it...
like, but also like watching the way it shifts, because even the stars aren't static here.
Nope.
They keep moving around, and it actually even is mentioned like that they are really that active, of how much the various different patterns will shift from one thing to another as you watch them in this beautiful parade of colors and just it looks really nice.
Even the arrangements that we would call official, like markers in the sky.
That's Pisces.
I was going to say,
that's
those
Orion.
Shift and move here. And Asra is just in soft awe of what he is seeing.
Yes.
And in deep enjoyment.
Yes. And then actually, I guess so Asra's been largely talking to the sky.
Yes.
He actually then deliberately looks to us, or looks to your main character.
To Kohai.
And then actually has that same kind of awe still on his face.
That same sparkle.
You have just been connected to the stars in the heaven, which are ever shifting.
I say, he looks at you with the same amount of, wow.
And then he actually even says it just straight out of going, hey, they're like you.
The heavens make me think of you.
Yes.
I want you to understand
that you are this great, all-powerful force that continues to shift.
This glorious,
change.
Beautiful, shifting, changing thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful and colorful.
That is also calming and soothing.
Uh-huh.
And then Kohai is like, that's a thing?
Maybe,
really?
honestly, I imagine it's more overwhelmed, because we're talking about romance here. So you'd probably be like...
So it would just be like,
whoa.
Really?
Whoa. You got really intense, like you changed all of your focus.
That is a thing?
That you were like, this is an element of nature, and I brought it down going, you are that thing.
Honestly, so the premium art just has him gazing up into the distance in a lounged pose kind of thing. It's pretty, it's sort of cute and charming. I was just saying, but it'd be really, like just sort of wild in my mind if they did a second frame where you do that sort of lead from one draw to another,
right, and then suddenly they're looking at you. That would be so good.
That would be
I know
super
it
cool.
would have been work, but it would have been fun.
And then you would really only need the 2 frames, because you do that soft bleed swipe between them, and then it makes it look like he's looking at you suddenly, but like has like turned his head kind of thing.
Right.
But
or even just move his eyes down.
That one. So just so like the one eye.
Or just
you can
move
see,
his head and his eyes going whoop. I know it's work. Again, I'm like I'm not gonna deny that art isn't hard.
When Kohai goes, really? Asra's like,
yep.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely.
Yes. Like no jokesies, no funsies, not cracking up. It's just like
I've seen this view all the time. So many times.
And he actually even mentions going, yeah, I actually have seen this view so many times I couldn't even put the number on my fingers.
I couldn't put a number to it at all.
Yeah, and it's just like, but the only basically words that I've had crawl across my mind is actually going, I desire that the main character is all right.
He's all right. And the thing is like, so now it's head empty, only the best of wishes for the MC.
This is so weird. This is so...
That is what soothes him, is thinking about...
Head empty. Only MC.
Only MC.
Okay, so I have to clarify myself really quick, and I should probably talk about it outside of scene, but it really is kind of hitting me now. So we did actually have a kind of a conversation about this, of where we went, the pacing on like Julian's route and NADIA'S route is much more aggressive. They're really like, oh god, now we need to do things. And I have been so thrown off with this one because I keep expecting there to be a schedule.
A time constraint.
Because that's all they did in the other ones. And then they would completely abandon it, and it felt really weird and unnatural. And then in this, they're just like, and then you go off with Asra, and you have a magical wonderland, dreamy land, and you look at him, and he's beautiful, and doesn't he have abs? It's
also that thing where I was going, saying I should get back doesn't make any sense because there is no time constraint, no sense of urgency, nothing you need to do at all established so far. Like, we haven't even been told what our job is or what we were looking for in the library, except for more information in regards to Asra based on what we'd just seen in a vision with Faust. So all of our MC, and specifically Kohai's motivations, are about not being hired by Nadia, which was in the prologue, but just about I'm wandering about in the castle for my own purposes, and specifically now in reference to my master.
And it's also very, not master anymore, but it's also specifically, weirdly in reference to not even caring much about the mystery that they tried to set up, like, and also then suddenly shifting actually in Asra's route dramatically to a, what I've always cared about is my memories. Because we actually didn't get that much in the prologue either, did we?
The person in my life formerly known as Asra. no, formerly known as Master.
I was like, formerly
known as Master. I knew what I meant. Formerly known as Master. Anyway, so doing, just being so good.
And then he says this whilst they're looking at you, going like, I really have desired that it doesn't matter wherever this lovely person is.
And they're just experiencing joy and comfort and ease.
And that they are okay and nothing bad is happening.
Yep, and that they are enjoying their life and feeling good.
This is intense.
Also,
and even
though the arrangements of the stars change constantly, Asra continues to give all of them nicknames that are inspired by you.
Well, he just named a single set
just
of
one.
Stars, not multiples.
Sorry, I read that wrong. Okay, so there's, no matter how much they move, whenever this one arrangement comes around, it has been named after you.
He goes, that is you.
That is you.
In my sky,
Kohai.
You are my North Star. I'm waiting for that to happen.
Kohai is like,
shocked! Like, it's sort of that,
really?
I'm a little overwhelmed, like, whoa!
And going, he named one of the star arrangements after...
And then actually there's even the thought of going, okay, bro, actual real question. How do you do that? The stars keep shifting.
If they're always rearranging, how would you possibly pick one arrangement and call that after me? It's a great question. I love it.
Actually, that's very funny.
And then that happens in Kohai's head. And then Kohai sort of stares at Asra going, okay, so tell me the specific arrangement.
Can you point that one out?
Yeah, can you point to, as they shift in the sky, which one that is?
And then so Asra is probably like dreamily sort of like lifts up,
indicates
with his fingers,
with a gesture,
and is going to gesture. And then there's this noise that occurs. There's this loud bang or crash or whatever, and it just blasts out of nowhere, and it stops the whole conversation because that's how it works.
It disrupts the mood.
And then we're out.
Oh, and this is it. This is the end of the scene.
Is that Sonda?
Only of my heart, as you are about to... maybe?
Maybe? That's never happened before. GDQ. Ding! You must have brought the reins with you, Kohai.
I want to explain that meme because that makes me really happy. So GDQ is Games Done Quick, which is a group, which is speedrunners for charity, basically.
Yes, they are a fantastic channel.
Would recommend them in all ways. And the thing is you get speedrunners for video games in case you're really, really not in that community. So trying to play a video game through really, really quickly.
Yep, as fast as you can.
You get the speedrunners who have played these games hundreds and sometimes thousands of times to get this fast at them, doing it live suddenly and going, well, that's never happened before.
And it's a huge meme because they're like, oh my god, I'm serious, this has never happened before. And actually, sometimes they'll have a co-host who actually knows basically the percentages of like random behaviors. And they go, holy shit, that's like a 0.004. Like, some of them go off and they're just like, I've never seen that,
The odds of this happening are so low, and the player going, I've never even seen this before, and someone else going, I recognize that RNG.
But I also like the fact that you must have brought the reins with you, Kawaii. It's very Lion King suddenly to my brain.
I bless the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never had.
Such a weird fucking song. There's a comedy routine about it. Anyway, so we're actually going to stop here, though. I'm not going to go off about that comedy routine. Anyway, so thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe.
Woo!
Also, share our videos. It actually does a lot for us if you interact with the videos. In regards to the YouTube algorithm, please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi, Patreon, and our Twitch. There are some links in the description down below, and we would love to see you there. And I have been Scandal.
Additionally, if you enjoyed the cover-up art for this scene, please feel free to tell the artist either in our comments, because they do read them, I say, or by going to one of their platforms and letting them know, because we really appreciate their work and think it's very cool.
Yes, and also, if you would like to commission the artist, they are available to be commissioned.
As well.
Considering the fact that they actually live in Russia right now, and they could use some support.
That could be very helpful to them, because times are difficult for an average citizen.
Yes.
Over there.
Anyway.
At any rate, I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you.
Bye!